Two brothers invented the most successful restaurant concept in history. They revolutionized fast food. They created a system so perfect that it's still used today by 40,000 locations worldwide. And then, a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman walked into their restaurant and took everything. Ray Kroc didn't invent McDonald's. He didn't create the golden arches. He didn't develop the speedy service system. But he saw what the McDonald brothers couldn't, that their billion-dollar idea could become his billion-dollar empire. This is the story of the greatest business theft in American history. A handshake deal that went wrong, and two brothers who died nearly broke while their last name became the most recognized brand on earth. Let's start with how it all began. 1940, San Bernardino, California. Two brothers from New Hampshire, Richard and Maurice McDonald, or Dick and Mac, opened a drive-in restaurant. Nothing special at first, just another American drive-in with car hops, roller skates, and a menu with 25 items. But the brothers were obsessed with efficiency. They watched their operation for years, taking notes, timing everything, analyzing every movement. In 1948, they did something radical. They fired all the car hops, eliminated most of the menu, and reinvented fast food from scratch. They called it the Speedy Service System. The concept was revolutionary. Limited menu, just burgers, fries, shakes, and drinks. Assembly line production, each worker had one job. Paper packaging, no dishes, no waiting. Self-service, customers ordered at a window. Speed, 30 seconds from order to delivery. And here's the genius part. They designed the kitchen like a factory. Every step was timed, measured, perfected. A burger cost 15 cents, fries were 10 cents, but the volume? Massive. By 1952, McDonald's was making $350,000 a year, about $4 million in today's money, from one location. The McDonald brothers didn't just create a restaurant, they created a system. Other restaurants noticed. Burger joints across California started copying them. The brothers didn't care about expansion. They were happy in San Bernardino. They made good money. They had a simple life. They tried franchising a few times in the early 1950s, opened about 8 locations, but they were terrible at managing franchisees. Restaurants didn't follow the system. Quality suffered. Dick and Mac almost gave up on franchising entirely. And then, in 1954, a desperate 52-year-old salesman named Ray Kroc walked into their restaurant. Ray Kroc was failing at life. 52 years old, selling milkshake machines, multi-mixers that could make 5 milkshakes at once. The business was dying. Most restaurants didn't need that many mixers, but the McDonald brothers had ordered 8 of them for one restaurant. Kroc was curious. He drove from Chicago to San Bernardino to see why. What he saw changed everything. Lunchtime at McDonald's, lines out the door, burgers flying off the grill, customers getting food in 30 seconds, cash registers ringing nonstop. Kroc stood there watching this machine print money and had an epiphany. This isn't a restaurant, this is a system, and it can be replicated. He approached the brothers with a proposition. Let me franchise McDonald's nationwide. You focus on perfecting the system. I'll handle expansion. The brothers were skeptical. They'd tried franchising. It failed. But Kroc was persistent, charismatic. He promised to maintain their standards, protect their system, make them rich. 1954, they shook hands on a deal. Ray Kroc became the exclusive franchising agent for McDonald's. The terms: brothers keep ownership of McDonald's, Kroc gets 1.9% of gross sales from franchises, brothers get 0.5% franchise fee, Kroc handles all expansion. It seemed fair. The brothers got passive income, Kroc did the work. What could go wrong? Ray Kroc opened his first franchised McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois in 1955. He was obsessed, fanatical about replicating the McDonald's system. He created training programs, wrote detailed manuals, inspected restaurants personally, fired franchisees who didn't follow the rules. By 1960, Kroc had opened 228 McDonald's locations across America. The McDonald's system was spreading like wildfire. The Golden Arches were becoming iconic. But here's the problem. Kroc was making almost no money. Remember the deal. Kroc got 1.9% of gross sales from franchises. Sounds good, right? Except Kroc had to pay franchisee fees, real estate costs, marketing, operations, and training programs. After expenses, Kroc was barely breaking even, sometimes losing money. Meanwhile, the McDonald brothers were collecting their 0.5% franchise fee, passive income without lifting a finger. In 1960, the brothers were making $200,000 a year, about $2 million today, while Kroc was struggling to pay his bills. He was building their empire while going broke himself. He was furious. Kroc's lawyer, Harry Sonburn, came up with a brilliant and ruthless solution. Don't make money from burgers, make money from real estate. Here's the scheme. Kroc's company buys the land, leases it to the franchisee at a markup. Franchisee pays rent to Kroc before paying franchise fees to the brothers. Suddenly, Kroc was making millions from land, not burgers. The McDonald brothers got nothing from this. The real estate profits went entirely to Kroc. By 1961, Kroc was rich, and he wanted the brothers out. Kroc approached the brothers with an offer. "Sell me the company. I'll buy you out. You retire rich." The brothers hesitated. McDonald's was their creation, their name, their legacy. But they were tired. They were in their 60s. They wanted out of the business. In 1961, they agreed to sell. The price? $2.7 million, $27 million today, split between the two brothers. But here's the cruel twist. The brothers wanted to keep their original San Bernardino restaurant, the one that started everything, their baby. Kroc verbally agreed, handshake deal. Then, after the sale closed, Kroc did something vicious. After the McDonald brothers sold the company to Ray Kroc in 1961, they kept their original San Bernardino restaurant, the one that started everything. Kroc had verbally agreed they could keep it and continue operating under a different name. But Kroc wanted revenge for years of feeling cheated by the 0.5% franchise fee. So he opened a new McDonald's directly across the street from the brothers' original location. He undercut their prices, spent millions on advertising, drove them out of business. The brothers' restaurant closed within a year. Kroc took everything, even their legacy. The $2.7 million the brothers received, after taxes, legal fees, and splitting it between two people, each brother walked away with about $1 million. Sounds like a lot, right? Except McDonald's, the company they invented, was worth $700 million by 1970, billions by the 1980s, over $200 billion today. If the brothers had kept just 1% equity, their families would be worth billions now. Instead, Maurice McDonald died in 1971, net worth at death, under $2 million. Dick McDonald died in 1998, spent his final years bitter, broke, watching the world celebrate Ray Kroc as the founder of McDonald's. Here's the final insult. Ray Kroc spent the rest of his life claiming he founded McDonald's. In interviews, biographies, company history, Kroc painted himself as the visionary who invented fast food. The McDonald brothers? Barely mentioned. Footnotes. Kroc died in 1984, worth $600 million, celebrated as an American business icon. The brothers who actually created McDonald's? Forgotten. So, what does the McDonald brothers story teach us? Lesson 1. Always get it in writing. The brothers made handshake deals with Kroc over the buyout terms, over keeping their restaurant. Kroc ignored them the moment it was convenient. Verbal agreements mean nothing when millions are at stake. Lesson 2. Understand the value of what you've built. The brothers sold for $2.7 million because they thought that was enough. They didn't see the exponential growth potential of their own system. Kroc did. If they'd kept even 5% equity instead of selling outright, they'd have been worth billions now. Lesson 3. Ownership beats income. The brothers were happy making $200,000 a year in passive franchise fees. Kroc wasn't. He wanted ownership, control, equity. Ownership compounds, income doesn't. Lesson 4. Systems are more valuable than products. The McDonald brothers didn't just make good burgers, they created a replicable system. That system, the speedy service, is what Kroc bought. That's what made him rich. The product was secondary, the system was the gold. Lesson 5. Nice guys finish last. Sometimes. The McDonald brothers were decent, honest men. Ray Kroc was ruthless, obsessive, and willing to betray handshake deals. Kroc won, the brothers lost. That's not fair, but it's history. Today, there are over 40,000 McDonald's restaurants in 100-plus countries. The brand is worth over $200 billion. The McDonald brothers created the system, the vision, the innovation. Ray Kroc stole it, franchised it, turned it into an empire, and history remembers Kroc as the founder. In 1991, 7 years before Dick McDonald died, a reporter asked him how he felt about McDonald's success. He said, "I opened the first McDonald's. I created the speedy service system. I invented fast food. But people think Ray Kroc did all that. It makes me sick." The McDonald brothers died bitter, nearly broke, watching their name on 30,000 restaurants they didn't own. Ray Kroc died a billionaire, celebrated as a visionary. Who really won? That depends on what you value, integrity or money, because you rarely get both.